Hello and welcome to the Plug-in Duo. My name is Julio. Behind the camera is my wife, Christine. Today we'll be doing an unboxing and a quick review on the new iPhone 14. So, let's dig in. So, mailman came and brought something. Clearly we know what this is. The new Apple iPhone 14 in red. So, let's get this unboxed. There's one, and here's two. And there it is. Wow, no kidding. I know this is supposed to be red, but man, this is pretty red. Okay, so let's set this guy aside. You got your USB-C to lightning cable right here. So inside of here, you got your get yourself an Apple sticker right here. Some documentation, blah, blah, blah. Telling you also that this phone uses an eSIM now instead of a physical SIM. So, and aside from that, just the usual, designed by Apple in California. Of course, we gotta do this. Here you go. I don't know if you guys heard that, but here you guys go. You can see, again, very, very red. I don't know if it's just me, but I believe this part here, the camera surround, it looks like it's also red. I would have figured that it would have had the glass kind of like frosted white, but no, it's all red right here. This is not shiny. It's more like a frosted aluminum color, of course, metallic all around. You have the antenna bands, pretty much the flat-sided form factor that was introduced in the iPhone 12 continues here on the iPhone 14. Also, the cameras, instead of being stacked, now they are in a diagonal fashion. Of course, you have your microphone and you have your LED flash right here. Kind of reminds me of the, what is it? I believe the iPhone 4, how it had the blocky style, but it has with the rounded edges. Nowhere here you're gonna find the slot for the SIM tray. That is an exclusion that took place with this phone. Your volume buttons, your lock button, and power. I believe this is for the 5G. I'm not sure if this is probably where the SIM tray used to go, and maybe they just decided to put a clear piece of plastic. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a 5G antenna. Like usual, you got your lightning port down here. You also have your holes for the speaker, for the microphone. And let's see, and that's pretty much it. And a microphone for the camera. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The earpiece, and you know, that's that. This iPhone 14 still keeps the notch unlike higher spec versions, but we already know that the notch had gotten smaller and it takes less of the real estate of the screen. Apple says that the ceramic shield offers up to 4 times more drop and scratch protection versus iPhones without it. So definitely the texture here, it's not as slippery as it was before, how the edges were shiny and make it more slippery. I mean, definitely you're gonna need a case for this, but the feel definitely is, it's different from other iPhones that have the shiny edges. The rear camera also includes night mode along with the recently introduced photonic engine, an action mode for smooth video and gimbal-like stabilization. And with all this, the iPhone 14 keeps its water resistance. Dimensions for the iPhone 14. Height is 5.77 inch of height, width of 2.81 inches, and a thickness, which is pretty darn thin, of 0.30 of an inch. The iPhone 14 is available now and at a starting price of $799 for the 128 gigabyte model. This time there are 5 colors available, which is Starlight, Blue, Red, Purple, or Midnight. Features introduced this year are the crash detection and also emergency satellite messaging. So for those times where you are not connected to a mobile network, so you could message emergency messages through satellite, which is a great feature. Part of this unboxing also is comparing the new device to the old device. And our old device is the iPhone 11. Here we'll notice that they're pretty much both the same size. The iPhone 11 was just a little bit taller. The 11 is just a little bit wider as well. On the back, we notice that the cameras are arranged in a stacked fashion, and you have your flash and your microphone versus versus arranged this way. And then the camera, the glass around the camera is also a little bigger, which also they increase the size of the camera surrounds themselves as well. Aside from that, of course, the main difference is introducing the iPhone 12. You have here the rounded edges, still made out of glass and aluminum, but you have the rounded edges all around the phone versus here on the 14 has that look reminiscent of the iPhone 4, but yet the edges aren't too sharp. They're actually beveled just real nice, and it feels good on the hand. Definitely, you can tell the difference. This iPhone 11 is definitely heavier than this one. Now that we have unboxed the iPhone 14 and compared it to the iPhone 11, let's do a little comparison on the specs themselves as to what to look forward to upgrading from the iPhone 11 to the iPhone 14. Of course, to start, the biggest glaring difference is the SIM card tray. The iPhone 14, which again features a eSIM. You also have the flat-sided edges versus right here on the rounded body of the phone. Then also the screens themselves. On the iPhone 11, the screen is up to 625 nits of brightness versus the iPhone 14 is 800. The notch is definitely and noticeably bigger on the iPhone 11 than on the iPhone 14. The front-facing camera, they are both 12 megapixels. On the iPhone 11, you had an f-stop of 2.2 versus on the 14, you have an f-stop of 1.9. So it's better at taking those selfies or those group pictures that maybe you don't have the best of lighting, so it brings in more light. So that is definitely a good upgrade. For the cameras on the back, 12 megapixel cameras, just like the iPhone 14. The difference is the iPhone 11 has an f-stop of 1.8 versus the iPhone 14 has an f-stop of 1.5 with censorship. Also, as far as HDR, iPhone 11 has HDR2 versus iPhone 14 has HDR4. Both the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 14 have night mode. The difference is on the iPhone 14, night mode has been changed to perform better, while also featuring the new Photonic engine. And in addition to action mode. As far as RAM, iPhone 11 has 4, 14 has got 6. As far as processors go, the iPhone 11 has the A13 Bionic, which is a 7 nanometer processor clocked at 2.65 gigahertz versus the 14 has the A15 Bionic processor with a 4 nanometer architecture, and it is clocked in at 3.23 gigahertz. As far as wireless charging, they both have wireless charging, but the difference is that on the 11, there's no MagSafe. And wireless charging, you can have wireless charging up to 5 watts with a Qi compatible charger. On the 14, you have 15 watts with MagSafe and 7.5 watts with a Qi wireless charger. On both devices, they both have 6.1-inch screen. Again, the difference is that the 11 has a resolution of 1792 by 828 versus the 14 has a 2532 by 1170 resolution. Again, the 11 has a pixels per inch of 326 versus the 14 has a pixels per inch of 460. iPhone 11 features Gorilla Glass versus Ceramic Shield. Both are made by Corning Glass, by the way. They both also have the water resistance. As far as network connectivity goes, the 11's got 4G versus the 14 has 5G. So the 11 had internal memory of 64, 128, and 256 versus the 14 has 128, 256, and 512. The 11's got 5.0 Bluetooth versus 5.3 on the 14. The battery on the 11 is 3,110 milliamp hours versus 3,240. So definitely the battery's just a little bit bigger, but I believe the processor is not only more powerful, faster, also efficiency in power is definitely better on the 14. Another difference, again, in the screen, on the 11 is a liquid Retina HD LCD display versus the 14 has a Super Retina XDR OLED display. The only color available for the iPhone 11 is black. So as far as weight, the iPhone 11 weighs 6.84 ounces versus the iPhone 14 weighs 6.06 ounces. As far as the dimensions, I'm pretty sure you're all pretty familiar with them. From what I can see right now, the 14 is just a little shorter, it's not as tall. And then the thickness, including the cameras, it looks as if the 14 is just a little bit thicker than the 11. But definitely with upgraded specs, there's something to be expected. So this is pretty much the unboxing. One last thing that I do want to show is how easy or how complicated it is to change from a physical SIM to an eSIM. So let's try that real quick. Okay, so on here we're gonna select our language. Okay, of course we're gonna select on here. Okay, and then right here is telling us to bring our current iPhone close to this new one to set it up. Then it says, once you transfer to this iPhone, it will stop working on the other iPhone. Confirm transfer, okay. All right, so the process so far has been pretty easy and straightforward. So I think we're gonna call it complete with this review. I can tell this phone is already speedier than the 11. The whole process seems to be going a lot smoother than I thought it would have. I figured going from a physical SIM to an eSIM, I would have figured that the process would have been a little bit more difficult or confusing, but no, it's pretty much straightforward. But anyway, I think we're gonna call it for this one. Thanks for joining us in unboxing the iPhone 14. And my name is Julio. My wife Christina is behind the camera, and we are the plug-in duo. We will catch you guys on the next time we plug in.